and then release a full, a full CD. I wouldn't, I mean, I don't know, unless there's a side of something I'm not seeing, I don't see it being reasonable, releasing a whole bunch of, like different EPs every year, because by the time you get done doing that, after about a year or two, you probably, if you put all that stuff together, you'd have enough for a CD.
Yeah, that's
So,
right.
so what the guy decided to do is he goes, "Yeah, you're right. I'm just going to take my time." I think he had, oh, I don't know, like 6 songs, and then he had like 3 or 4 more that he was working on. So he decided to push the date out, finish those songs, and release a CD. And like I told him, I said, you know what? No rush. Don't just throw something out there just because people are demanding it. I mean, yeah, it's nice that they want to hear new music and stuff like that, but don't release it just because somebody says, "Hey, I want a new song now." Just take your time, do it the way you want to do it, and release it when it's ready. And they'll be there. And if they're, like you said, if they're true fans and are really into your music and stuff, they'll be there and they'll want you to do the same thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the way I think. I mean, that's why I've sort of left the album release date a little bit vague. I've said sort of late summer, early autumn. I might have to put that back a bit. I don't know. But that's my rough timeline. That's my personal goal,
Hmm.
really. That's when I'd like to have it done by. I mean, I've got. I mean, another little bit of news. I might have some international gigs potentially kicking off. I don't know yet. I'm not going to go into any major league detail about one of them because it is very much in its infancy.
Hmm.
But I mean, the other one I can tell you about. It's not actually a proper gig as such, but I teach at a big teaching event over in Las Vegas most years for my day job. It's a
Wow.
thing called Autodesk University. Autodesk being the software company that I do a lot of work with. And as I said, a lot of the guys that I deal with, a lot of the CAD guys, they're musical. And last year at Autodesk University, they all got together at the House of Blues in Vegas and did a live gig for all the people that were attending Autodesk University. And I
Hmm.
think they ended up with about 500 people in the audience. It was quite a gig. It was quite good fun, and it got a lot of, obviously, frish on, and a lot of talks about stuff going on, in the Autodesk circles. And I've actually been asked if they're going to do it this year, whether I'll actually sing and join in and be a vocalist for them.
Wow.
And I said, are you kidding? That means I can say I've played Vegas. That's you know
Yeah.
the likes the likes of Sinatra have done that. I'll play Vegas, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Even if it is just a little gig, 500 people. To me, that's a big gig. That's great fun. I'd love to do it, and if it's going to happen, absolutely. I believe it's supposed to be cheesy American rock with a British attitude, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. So.
Cool. Yeah, you got to keep me posted on that and let me know more about what's going on with that.
Oh, will do. If you and Froggy can get there and come and check it out, absolutely.
Yeah,
A couple of
Vegas
the
is.
couple of the guys that do play. There's a guy. He's an Autodesk guy. He was in a. I don't know. You might have heard of them actually. A band called Doctor Ruth. Have you heard of them?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know the lead guitarist.
Wow.
He's been working for Autodesk for years and years and years. Probably about the last 15 years.
Wow.
A lovely guy called Pete, and funnily enough, we met at an Autodesk event in Copenhagen in Denmark, and it was like, don't I know you from somewhere? And he said, no, we've never met, and I said, not on a CAD sort of Autodesk level. Have you done music or something? He still had his long hair at this point,
Uh huh.
and it was like, do you know? He said to me, do you know the band Doctor Ruth? I said, do I ever? Are you involved with them? He said, yeah, I'm the lead guitarist. It was like, whoa! And that was what we did for the next 3 days. Every time we bumped into each other at coffee or at evening meals, it was like just
Wow.
talking guitars
Well, that's pretty
constantly.
cool.
So, but yeah, it's kind of weird. A lot of CAD people are musical, and I think going back to a comment that was in the chat room, I think the maths and the music do link together somewhere. I think they really do.
Hmm. So, well, you know what? I could sit here and talk with you all night, but I don't want to keep you, up too late. I know the hours, like I said.
You can keep talking for as long as you
Oh,
like. It's absolutely fine. I've got a free pass tonight. It's okay.
oh, okay. You got you got tossed in the other room in the studio.
Well, yeah, I'll be doing that anyway, just purely out of respect for Michelle. It's late and she needs her sleep. So,
Yeah.
and she's I think she's off dog walking with a friend early tomorrow morning. So I'll probably crash in the spare room or something tonight. But hey, I mean she's not called Angel for nothing.
Of
She's
course,
a
of
great
course.
lady. She puts up with a lot with my music, and I could do a lot worse. You know, um, there's been a lot of stuff, just personal lifestyle stuff at the moment that is it's been complicated. I won't go into any detail, but it's been complicated, and I think both Michelle and I have realised that life can be pretty crummy sometimes, and it's I mean, me and Michelle are fine, we're good, we're doing all right. But there's a lot of other stuff going on the peripheries of both our worlds at the moment that are very complicated,
Yeah.
and you suddenly realise that you've got this person that you love, and you've got to stick with them. You've got to just pull it together and appreciate what you've got.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of people out there. I won't mention any names, but there's a lot of people out there right now that all they're worried about is the materialistic things, the money, the lifestyle, all that sort of stuff, and don't give a shit about the people that are close to them.
You know what? I know
And
exactly what you're
it's
talking
it's not
about.
nice. It's not nice.
Yeah,
It's
no.
not nice at all.
I have a friend who, it's funny how you mentioned that too. It's like you're reading my mind tonight. I have a friend
Sorry, I'll try to stop.
who does exactly that, and it's like, okay, well, you know what? It's your band, your life. You do what you want. You asked for my opinion on something, I gave it to you. But I would say some of the things he has chosen to do have not been the wisest decision. But his answer as to why he did it is because that's how music is. That is the music scene. And to me, I mean, back in the 80s and stuff, you know, sex, drugs, alcohol, that's how it was. And now some people are kind of still stuck into that phase, and he thinks everything that he's got to do has got to be sleazy and deal with half naked women and everything. And it's like, you know what? If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But, personally, you don't need to do that with your music. If your music is as good as you say it is, people will like it the way it is. You don't need to do any of that funky stuff for it, just because that's part of the music business or whatever. But that's his business, and some people, like you said, they treat people bad. They're just in it for the money, and they just do things just to do them, but they don't have any regards to the people who have been there with them from day one, that have done a lot of things for them and everything. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just, you know I don't understand some people, but I guess, I guess I don't have to. But I just do what I can. The people with artists such as yourself, the ones that do everything themselves, they look at the whole picture. I mean, you, like I said, you're on the other side of the pond. The hours are late. You always seem, though, to find time to get out there. I mean, even if it's just a quick message, you'll shoot a message to somebody. You'll come in chat. You'll say hello to people and stuff like that. I mean, you're very, what's the word? I don't want to say people person, but you know what I'm saying? You're very communicative. You care about your fans. You do whatever you can, and I think that's really good. And that's why I got into the independent music. And those are the bands that I focus on, because they're the ones, they work for it. They work really hard for it. They spend a lot of time on things, and there are a lot of the artists, they're doing everything themselves. I mean, they have to write the music, they have to play the music, they get their interviews set up, they get tours set up, then they got to worry about merchandise and everything, So,
Yep. It's a tough gig. But the one thing I will say, and it's quite funny actually, Haunting Heather Shaun has just put a comment in the chat room saying, "Is the UK preparing for tomorrow's rapture?"
oh,
Um,
yeah, I've been reading about that all day. All
yeah,
day.
I've been kind of enjoying all the press about it. It's been good fun. But hey, God forbid if something like that did happen. I just hope that all these people, all these sleazes that just use and abuse people and use and abuse their position and everything else, hey, let's hope they're the ones that go down to where the flames are and stuff, and all the nice guys get to go where all the guys with the white suits are and all the big clouds are, right? Hey,
Exactly. Exactly.
you
And
know, if there's anything, I mean, I, I'll be perfectly blunt. I'm not a big religious person. Never have been, never will be. And that's not because I don't believe or anything like that, or, I believe that there's something there. Not sure what it is.
yeah.
But, I'm a big believer in destiny and karma. And the one thing I will say is when you're on this planet, treat everybody the way that you would like to be treated. That's my view. That's one of my, I try my hardest to try and treat people the way that I would like to be treated.
Yeah.
And hey, if it gets me to paradise or whatever it's called, I'm a happy man.
Yeah.
As long as I don't get reincarnated as, I don't know, a dung beetle or something, as long as I come back as something nice, I'd like to be a polar bear actually. That's something I kind of like. I know they're endangered and everything, but they're just kind of cool.
Yeah.
Polar bear, dolphin, shark, whale. I don't know, something big.
yeah.
but I just there's something out there. There is a system out there, and if you put loads of stuff into that system, you will get back things that these other guys might not get. The one thing that has amazed me and is something that still amazes me is about 5 years ago I picked up a guitar for the first time and started learning how to play a guitar because I went through a very messy time in my life. Went through a very messy divorce that involved my kids and lots of other stuff,
hmm
and I just wanted a new direction. And suddenly, I was creating this music, and I was actually releasing this music out to the rest of the world. Excuse me. And the response I got was just amazing. I suddenly realised how many nice people there are out there. And, I mean, I've hit, I'm over 900 fans now on my Reverb Nation page. I'm over 900 fans on my Twitter page.
Wow.
Facebook, I'm up to 1,500, 1,400 friends, something like that. And all of those people who have joined me as a friend, I have tried to get a message to.
hmm
Personal message. That's when Facebook doesn't block me, by the way,
Oh,
which it does
yeah.
on a regular basis. But it's just the generosity of people. But it's not just the people that listen to my music, and it's not just the fans. It's the other musicians as well.
Exactly.
I mean, to give you an example, there's a guy, well, at least one in the chat room, Haunting Heather Shaun. We talk regularly, and yeah, we do have differences of opinion about Richie Sambora and Rehab and things like that. But hey, we all have opinions. But there are
yeah.
lots and lots of people out there that are just damn nice, just extremely nice people. And, I mean, another nice guy, Chucky from Spaceship Days.
Oh, yes.
You know,
Fantastic guy.
talk to him, message him once in a while, and just lovely people. And it really, really, it just soothes the soul a little bit to know that there's all these nice people out there, and we are a genuinely, nice sort of race or species on this planet. Yeah, we have the scumbags. We do. We do have the scumbags. But hey, in the animal world you have the scumbags. In the insect world you have the scumbags. I'm sure you do.